Please note these are a form of social commentary and not in any way meant to put down the ideas and ideals of any political or gender identity. You are all fair game in the eyes of the wicked, and we see you.
I've done what I feel right. It just feels like
the world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at, see that chap over there? He'll take your hand off my penis!
The Deputy Secretary, the Deputy Secretary, Deputy Secretary.
This guy is fucking stupid!
Stay cheesy. All right, and one more sound. All right, we are live and ready. How's it going, my beautiful chickadees, my beautiful starflies, and my reasons for living? Today is the 26th of October, and yeah, life is still pretty damn depressing on this side. Cheers. So today we're going to be talking about the celebration going on with the MAGA morons on finally taking 3 weeks, but finally managed to find somebody to be third in line to the presidency of the United States. Literally the highest office in our country. And it took them 3 weeks to find somebody to fill that. And they're celebrating, like, literally, they're celebrating pretty much as the Phillies fans should be celebrating right now. And at least that's how the American public feels. You know, as long as you're not an actual MAGA moron. So what we talked about yesterday, I was surprised at the numbers, because yesterday was actually a pretty decent show, and yeah, the turnout really sucked. And I don't know if I did it too early or did it too late, or if maybe excuse me, or if maybe it just didn't go through. I don't know, because we had that problem the other day. We had an episode that was also very unpopular that I think was very unpopular because of the simple fact that it ended up recording without my permission. We do the show through Streamlabs, and so we've been with Streamlabs for years now, or a year now. And I watched our first episode the other day, and it was fucking awful. I had no idea what I was doing. I had, it was pretty much like now, but with a way worse stutter and a lot of quiet, I would say a lot of uncomfortable silence. Let's just call it that. And it really was just me trying to put shit together, but this slows me down sometimes. But since we've been on the air for now a year, I've gotten pretty fucking used to it, as you can tell. So it does not slow down my speech, nor will it slow down any of the speed of the show anymore. All right? Guy got his tolerance back. All right? Stella got her groove back, and we're ready. So, first off, and I want to really point this out, our logo has marijuana leaves all over it, okay? Let's let it dance around for a minute. I want you to see this because I'm really getting sick of the magatards that don't notice that this is a pot-friendly show, okay? We are pot-friendly people, and we do not settle for any kind of bigotry or hatred towards pot smokers. Okay, so I'm gonna take one more hit just because of that point. All right, so do not complain about the marijuana smoke in this show. We are marijuana advocates on this show. Okay. And I think we're one of the only podcast live streams to actually smoke weed on the program. Okay. So to me, that's an accomplishment in itself to show that we are not afraid to smoke weed on this show. We have no corporate master. And I couldn't care less how many people actually watch the show, as long as the people that do watch the show understand the point. And our point has always been to go against the status quo and to be a good person. It is pretty pathetic that we live in a time and an era where that very ideology is almost dangerous. To simply have virtues and have standards and class is so fucking abnormal in this world we live in that honestly it's mistaken for some sort of weakness. And it's just ridiculous. It's just sad. And so as usual, today we're going to be talking about the now unified Nazi Party, which I guess they're pretending that they're not in total wreckage and not burning every damn bridge that they cross. So we're going to start off with the pathetic excuse for a former president, the great fat pumpkin man, who we're going to watch right now, came out of the office, or came storming out and came storming out of the courtroom, giving himself away after a gag order specifically tells you to shut the fuck up. He goes on and fucking gives himself away. But what's beautiful about it is that he's such a natural born shit talker that he can't help himself but talk shit. So as soon as he does it, what I don't know, what's amazing to me is how he opened the door, apparently after yelling out, "I'm leaving," and he steps out of the door with this this ridiculous look on his face. It was just it's just hilarious. It was like he was I don't know, for a second it was like he was actually like getting into character almost, So I actually had to borrow this from Jimmy Kimmel, because sadly enough, nobody else had covered it this well except for Jimmy Kimmel showed all of it. Because you get to see him actually come out the door, and that's what's interesting. Now, everybody can show you the speech. The speech is not what was important. What was important was the look. The look on his face once they had basically told him, "Hey, didn't you just break your gag order like right now?" And he just goes, "In respect to what?" What you just fucking said. So this stupid ass comment has now cost him up to $15,000. This was $10,000 because he made fun of the judge and the clerk. So because he can't stop talking shit, this cost him an extra $10,000. That makes $5,015,000 he has lost due to talking too much shit already. And that's just from his big fat ass mouth. So $5,015,000.
And waddled right out of the courtroom.
See how he goes right into Trump mode. See that?
Admitted that we won the trial. And the judge will end this trial immediately. Thank you.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
here, we already see Trump has actually, in fact, stormed out. But the fact that he not only did he storm out, he storms out, but immediately see the hands do the thing. He just goes right to the, I'm going to make up a complete fucking lie. And so maybe that's his tell. I'm going to have to start paying more attention because he immediately puts the hands out, which means deflection. I am now going to deflect everything you say and project it back onto you because I am rubber and you are glue. The amount of third grade tactics that are used here is fucking hysterical. But we're going to show you that he's not the only one trying this strategy out. And for some reason, it works.
The witness just admitted that we won the trial.
I really want to know what witness is he talking about that just said straight up, we lied and Trump should win. Wasn't this when Cohen was coming out? Or no, that might have been the next day. There's so many trials with this guy.
The judge should end this trial immediately. Thank you.
Yeah, that didn't happen at all. And look at it. The last time he was this mad was when
This judge is a very partisan judge, with a person who's very partisan sitting alongside of him, perhaps even much more partisan than he is.
no, to be in terms of your gag order.
Did you violate the gag order, Mr. President?
No.
Were you referring to the clerk?
With respect to
Now, I don't know if you can tell, but where I come from, that is the face of a man that just literally fucked up. And I really wish I could like zoom in on this look, because I mean, that is the look that, I mean, once he just said, or once he's asked, did you just violate your order? And you notice how the lawyer confidently nods her head, no, but then realize, wait, yeah, he kind of did. Any good lawyer at this point would tug on him and say, shut your fucking trap. Just shut up. Just shut up. That's what any good lawyer would do right now. But we all know the people he hires for his circus.
Gag order, Mr. President?
no.
Were you referring to the clerk?
Did you violate the gag order, Mr. President?
No.
Were you referring to the clerk?
With respect to what?
The disparaging comments.
No, not at all.
Who are you speaking about when you said the person sitting beside the judge?
Okay, any other questions?
I'm sorry, it's funny every time. How the hell is that man like serious at anything that he does? It's just, it's not possible. No one could be that goddamn stupid. But this went on with the their childness and childishness and their craziness. And I wanted to mention the Republican Party getting together, because this is also hysterical. Just to witness this celebration that you're like, dude, it took you guys 3 goddamn weeks to do your job. And you notice there is not one shade of gray in that motherfucking room. Look at that. For all of the people that probably bought that book, you think you would see one shade of gray, but it's just white galore, dude. This is honestly, that is whiter than a Dave Matthews Band concert and Wilco on the same night. Like, seriously, this is some sad shit.
The efforts to overturn the 2020 election results.
Just in case you were wondering if we had managed to at all get mature over what's been going on and the laughing stock that has been our party, you think maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't act like a total moron. Yeah, that's how you.
Somebody's Centrum Silver kicked in extra hard.
So that is hilarious because that shows you the mentality of that shows you the mentality that they have. They're not here to do anything positive, and you cannot build anything when all you do is destroy your own foundation. You are not going to be able to rebuild anything when you have beaten down to the ground so bad that the foundation itself is being torn apart. You can't rebuild, all right? And so to say, yeah, we got serious and we're ready to get back to work, and the very next thing is you tell the press to shut up. The press is an American institution to question our authorities to make sure they're doing their jobs. So when you see that happen, that is authoritarianism. That is not a democracy. Now, the fact that you didn't see a single Hispanic or black person, you think you would have had one token fucking any shade of gray. Anyone. You think you'd have one token. But no, they don't even have a token fucking black guy in the back. There's no Tim Scott. There's no fucking, I don't know. There's just nobody. Nobody's there. You guys could have, I don't know. Put Santos out there. Isn't he supposed to be something? I don't know. Speaking of Santos, let's get into Santos. That fucking idiot. He's up to, I think, 23 counts now. But not only does he have 23 charges, but I want to bring up the fact that he has a new fucking lie that apparently he must have forgotten that he just straight up steals a story from Rush Hour, the movie Rush Hour. I don't know if it was on like TNT or something, or some sort of Chris Tucker marathon. Maybe like he missed Friday and woke up and like Rush Hour is halfway through. So then he went off and actually told a actual journalist that his niece was kidnapped by the Chinese Communist Party. This is, I mean, I'd say you can't make this shit up, but he does all the fucking time. So let me get out of the way, and I just want you to watch this. And but first off, let's just look at this right here. The fact that you're writing, they're not after me, they're after you. I am just in the way. No, bro. They're after you because you got 23 accounts on like what? Fucking at least 3 different states. You got stolen dogs, dead dogs, you got Holocaust victims, you got drag queens, you got, oh my God, 9/11, and now the Chinese Communist Party that stole your niece or something. This is the same guy that said his mother died in 9/11 and his mother died in 2018. So, yeah, wow. The fact that even Trump, after doing that ridiculous speech and getting fined $10,000 for talking shit, can we do that to him at all? Like, why can't? Where's his fucking gag? And I don't mean the one that he uses for fun, because you could totally tell that dude uses a gag for fun. Okay.
They're not after me. They're after you.
Oh,
I'm just in the way in true Trumpian fashion. And it's so excellent because George Santos, I never did wire fraud. I never did aggravated identity theft. They're not after me. I am 100%.
Right. We didn't commit any sort of tax frauds or anything like that. So this is what he actually stated. Santos, speaking to the New York Times, claimed that he had a story that nobody talks about. That is, his niece was kidnapped, likely in retaliation for the public comments that he had made against the Chinese Communist Party. So, yeah, they really had their eye on you, bro. You are that fucking important. So that goes on, and here's another one. Santos speaking. Is that the same exact one? No, okay. He claims that the story no one talked about, the Chinese Communist Party. You think that the reporter asks, did you think that it was China? The reporter, Grace Ashford, is trying to nail down what he's saying. And when asked, he simply replied, look, I don't want to get into conspiracy theory. You know he asked it like that. You know he said it like a question. But if the shoe fits, right? Now, I have a thing on bullshit. Now, there's a new trick that I've picked up about bullshit. And when people answer a yes or no question with another question, or answer in the form of a question where they talk like this, and you don't know exactly if they're asking a question or if this is a statement. So when I started noticing that people talk like that when they're full of shit, okay? And I swear to God, Santos has to mean bullshit somewhere. So while all this ridiculous shit is happening, all around us, you have to remember one main thing, and that is that Trump is a traitor. Above all, he is a traitor, a treasonous traitor to the country. And I don't mean that in any way of hyperbole. I mean that as literally as possible. He's a threat to our very safety. He's a threat to our military, and he's a threat to everything he touches. So I want to show you what he has to say about Trump. And this guy here is he's a former military. His name is Mike Breen, and he's going to discuss how Trump goes around giving away military information, even at one point talking about our military equipment that we are currently using, or that we were currently using in Iran. Now, in Iran, you have to remember, during the Persian Gulf War, a huge problem that we were having was, one, we had no fucking reason to be there, and two, just like we saw in the bullshit Iraqi freedom crap, after all that bullshit, people were concerned because their fellow comrades were losing body parts. Excuse me. They were literally being blown up from constant IEDs. There were so many landmines that had been previously placed and then left. It was treacherous for them to walk anywhere. there were certain military vehicles that gained these special technology to report and to identify an IED on the terrain in which it's driving. So it'll be able to tell underneath if there's an IED or there's an IED close. Now, if you don't know what an IED is or a landmine is, it means boom boom. You know, so if there's some sort of incendiary device that's hidden underneath, it's obviously going to be a huge threat if you can't fucking see it. And if you watch the movie Three Kings, they show it where a cow walks on one and blows up. Now we have a serious problem with that in the Middle East, and this is why ground troops are just such a stupid idea. Whenever you're fighting in the Middle East, ground troops are just, in my opinion, just unnecessary. You don't need anyone on the ground. You can literally take everything by air when there's nothing but empty terrain. So Trump went around telling people, not only that rich billionaire from Australia, but he went around telling random friends and to show off about these military vehicles, which in fact he was giving out so much information that we had people, contrary to our interests, actual motherfucking terrorists, listening in and becoming a part of his little circle of chatty Cathys, and all they need is money. That's all he fucking cares about. You know, his lifeblood is just money. So his fucking yapper keeps going off while he gets paid literally to have dinner with these people, but they're not paying for your company. You're a stupid fuck, and you're giving away our boys, and you're gonna get us killed. And our men and women in the military do not deserve death by idiocy. And so this is why no serious military veteran or aspiring to be a soldier should have any respect for Donald Trump. If you do, you are a fool. And I'm sorry. You know, like my father is a vet. I have grown up with vets my whole life. And every one of them that I talk to has no respect for Trump because he is treasonous and he will sell us out in a fucking heartbeat. So let's just listen.
The technical specifications of your aircraft and its, electronic warfare capabilities. I mean, I'm imagining being back on the ground someplace and here comes the technical specifications on electronic warfare systems we're using to prevent IEDs from going off under our vehicles, right? I mean, you take pay to play to a level of abject absurdity. And it's horrifying at that level from the national security perspective. And then, it's just one more piece of evidence that he could not hold the people who protect this country in greater contempt. Not only does he not want to be seen with wounded soldiers, and does he feel that, our nation's military cemeteries are filled with losers and suckers instead of heroes.
This is another reason why no real veteran has any respect. Now, I don't want to say real veteran, but no veteran with critical thinking skills could ever fucking like this guy. The fact that he has specifically called our troops suckers and losers, and that he never wanted to be seen with any wounded veterans. So if you are a wounded veteran and you've given money to that campaign, he fucking hates you. He finds you embarrassing. He thinks you're a loser because you didn't get anything out of the army. And the only people that didn't get anything out of the army were the poor bastards that were fucking drafted, shoved into a fucking country they had nothing to do with to be slaughtered. Okay? That is fucking hell on earth. You have no fucking respect. You have no fucking love for this country. you're a fucking dirtbag piece of shit. Now, normally I would go a little bit further, so I think I will. So we'll give him a couple more minutes, and then we'll call it a day.
But he's willing to sell you out over a cocktail party to whoever might decide to talk to Russian intelligence. It's also worth saying, his judgment is not historically great, and this is pretty well documented in terms of who's around him and how aware he is of foreign intelligence operations. We could talk about it a little bit later today. I myself had a really strange experience with some Chinese intelligence folks who were successful at getting close to him back in early in his presidency. It eventually broke on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. He's shown terrible judgment about who he keeps around him and who he talks to.
Now, what he's talking about there is also very true. Like he sells us out. He sells us out for cocktail parties. That's literally what he does. He's a prostitute. He is not a president. He's a prostitute. And so again, if you have any love for our troops, if you have any love for our military, if you have any love for our veterans, and if you are a veteran, please don't do that to yourself. Know your enemy. If you guys have been taught anything, it's that. And that is not your fucking friend. And as you heard, that man, Mike, he dealt with like he was saying, those Chinese people, these Chinese foreign, basically spies. They're just spies. And you also have to remember that when it comes to any kind of foreigners, Trump loves Chinese people because they always have money. That's why he would never let fucking black people live in his fucking hotels, but he'd have plenty of Chinese and white people. So remember, he's a sucker for China because he loves their money. Yen, 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 yen. And so this is gone documented. This is fucking proven. And if you really do have any respect for people like our Navy SEALs and then our men in uniform, you would never even consider this man, who not only is a draft dodging bitch tit bastard, but also a treasonous traitor that hates our military. Okay. Want to say to my friends in the Air Force, love you guys. Friends in Marines, I have friends in Marines. I have friends in the Army. I have a friend in the Air Force that does a very, very, very important job. And I've had friends in Guantanamo Bay to Fallujah. So just want you guys to know, love you, love you, we love you. Stay safe, stay free, and most of all, I'll see you on the other side. But please stay cheesy, my friends. It is the only way to stay. All right, guys. Be safe, seriously. And hoorah.
Please note these are a form of social commentary and not in any way meant to put down the ideas and ideals of any political or gender identity. You are all fair game in the eyes of the wicked, and we see you.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. The ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at, see that chap over there? He take a jaw and off my face.
the Deputy Secretary, the Deputy Secretary, Deputy Secretary.
This guy is fucking stupid.
Stay cheesy.